Hey everyone, welcome to AC Everything. My name is Andrew. Today we're going to be discussing. I had a second helping or a second viewing of Birds of Prey, and I have to say I have a lot of thoughts, as well as the box office roadmap per se for this film at this moment. And also, I want to say immediately for all the people comparing Sonic and Birds of Prey, just stop. Just stop. You're wasting your time. I know one is doing better financially, but let's be honest. One is a stupid film, and one is neither of them. Okay, neither of these movies are going to be considered for Oscars or anything like that, or anything big. No big awards or anything like that. Neither of them are really serious films or anything of that nature. But these two are far different. People need to stop comparing these films in terms of quality and stuff like that. One of them's a kid's movie, for God's sakes, and one of them's rated R. They're not comparable, okay? I know everyone's excited because Sonic beat Birds of Prey at the box office and, Get Woke, Go Broke, and that makes everyone feel great. And that's also, I have to say, Get Woke, Go Broke does not apply here. This movie is still unlikely to lose money. It's right now it's on the same box office arc as John Wick 2. Right now it's making about the exact same amount of money. It's making slightly more than Dark Phoenix, so it'll probably end up around 260 to $300 million, which means it'll break even or make a little bit of cash. 300 million is on the low end of where I predicted it, by the way. So I'm a little disappointed in this movie. I still think it's a decent film. I had a second viewing of it. I would say it's probably a 7 out of 10 at this point. With a second viewing, I kind of saw some more that I had issues with, that I just didn't like. The pacing was still slow. There's still a lot of issues with this film. It's not a bad movie. Again, I'm going to say it's not a bad movie, but there are a lot of issues with this film. I think that the pacing is just bad. The narration is lazy. It's like ham-fisted narration by Harley Quinn. I don't mind it. Like we said, the first 45 minutes were just rusty, very slow, very boring, and then it gets good toward the end. I still think a 7 out of 10 is probably a good rating on this one. And everyone painting this movie as a failure, it's not. It's maybe its underwhelming performance at the box office aside. The movie itself is not a failure. I've also seen a certain someone, I'm not going to waste my time mentioning them anymore because I'm pretty sure everyone knows who I'm going to talk about anyway, stating that this is like the end for Harley Quinn and stuff, and its title and stuff, and it's hyperbolic and stupid. Okay, this is not the end for Harley Quinn. She's already scheduled to be in Suicide Squad. She's currently a cornerstone of the DCEU. She's not going anywhere, okay? Harley Quinn's not going anywhere. Painting it as if this is the end for Harley Quinn is just dumb, and it's a waste of time. It's not the end. Now, where she goes from here, where they take her from here, I don't know. I know she's going to be in Suicide Squad. I also had seen a lot of people saying like, oh, because this movie did bad, Suicide Squad's going to do bad. No, it's not. I don't see you going into Suicide Squad thinking of it having any sort of political message. That whole group is just too goofy and kind of off the beaten path. I just wouldn't see it happening. That would have any sort of political message. I still don't believe that it's so profound and it's so outward in this film. I don't see a lot of political messaging in this film either, but people seem to think that there is. Again, I'm going to say, and I'm going to make a statement again. Just because the media has blamed men for this film does not mean that the movie should not be held responsible for what the media has said. That's stupid. Makes no sense. No. Okay? No. It doesn't work that way. Okay? It does not work that way. But I will say, I think DC is going to have to take a long look at this film and think about. I think that, if I'm being honest, the main reason this movie failed, and this is what most people are agreeing upon, and most analysts and most box office analysts are agreeing, that the real downfall of this film is the R rating. Because honestly, if you watch it, it's not a hard R. It's mostly language. It's a little gory, but I don't. It's not any more gory than a lot of other comic book films that I've seen, and I don't think it needed to be anyway. If this film hadn't been rated R, it probably would have. It's not because, again, it's not because of any get woke, go broke. It's not because of any woke agenda. That's not the reason this movie failed. It's because it phased out like half of its audience by being rated R. That's not a get woke, go broke situation. Okay, it's stupid to say it is. But I will say, definitely, an 80% by the critics is definitely too high. 65 to 70% would have been better, I would say. That's probably where I'd expect it to fit. Keep in mind, and this is why I'm saying this is not a failure. It's not failing with the people that have seen it. It's not failing with the critics. The people that have seen it, and I'm not saying just the critics. The critics have it at 79% right now. I think it should be closer to 70%. It should be a little lower. But it's not. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fans. Post-track, it did very well. Cinema score, it got a B+. It's got a 79% on Flickster on Rotten Tomatoes, and the Fandango score. It's doing fine, okay? This is not a bad movie. It's not a great movie. It's an okay movie. It's doing okay. For me, it was still a little bit better than Aquaman, I'll be honest. I still like it a little bit better than Aquaman. But maybe I need to go back and watch Aquaman again because, but it's not a bad movie, okay? I would definitely say it's worth the $12 ticket to go see it. Now, the other thing that needs to be brought to people's attention, the other thing that needs to be kept in mind, is I think this is going to make Wonder Woman a lot more important now, because even though this isn't a bad film, I'll restate it for the 30th time, it's not a bad film. But even though it's not, I think this box office performance is, I'm hoping not, but I think it's going to keep a sour taste in the mouth of WB, and they may be worried about making more female-fronted comic book films, and I hope that's not the case. So hopefully Wonder Woman does well, because I don't want to see them set aside female characters because of this. Because I would actually like to see a Birds of Prey team-up film without Harley Quinn, because that was really what muddied the waters here, was Harley Quinn. People didn't know what they were going to see. People didn't understand the story. The marketing was just not good. All that on top of the fact that it was rated R, that's what killed this film. So hopefully, I would like to see a Birds of Prey team-up film, just that team get their own film, because they were actually really good in this film. They were actually really great. So I hope to see something with them in the future. And DC has a lot to narrow. Warner Brothers has a lot to map out. Their setup right now is very, very confusing. And I don't think they've quite figured out exactly where they're going from here, because they made a mess with the way they came into things with the DCEU and setting it up and rushing it, and they wanted to catch up to Marvel real quick, and now they're just doing loose connected films that are barely connected to the cinematic universe. You see like the only reference I saw to the DCEU that connected it to other films at all was, I believe there was a wanted poster for I don't know his name, the boomerang guy from Suicide Squad. He wasn't important enough to remember, to be honest, which is actually a shame, because I believe he's actually a really good character from the comics, and they kind of set him aside and he was garbage. Hopefully they fixed that in the next Suicide Squad film. But that was the only reference to the other films in the cinematic universe that I saw in this film. And that's kind of a shame, and that makes it really confusing. Same thing in Shazam as well, and I believe in Aquaman as well. And they've been doing that for the last few films, and that's okay, and I understand that, but what are they going to do from the future? I'm hoping what happens, what I've heard a lot of people say, is they're probably going to hit the reset button with Flashpoint, and that's probably a way that they're going to get Robert Pattinson's Batman involved. By the way, the Batsuit, if you haven't seen it, look it up. The new Batsuit looks incredible. It looks a lot like the Arkham suit from the Arkham game series. Looks really cool. I'm not going to go into the whole gun thing. That's cool if that's what they're doing. The whole gun on his chest plate thing. That's cool if that's what they're doing, but I wouldn't. I don't know why is it really that important? Whatever. Also, I've heard that the Batmobile is going to be a Mustang. That's pretty cool. I like that. Uh, but I think they really need to figure things out for the future, because disregarding this film, because I don't think that this film is necessarily a sign that they're in trouble or anything. Like, I still expect Wonder Woman in June to do very well at the box office. I still expect it to make plenty of money. Because the marketing's been good, the movie's good, we know what we're getting. We know we're going to get Gal Gadot as a good Wonder Woman. Same cast, Chris Pine's back. I don't know how they're doing that, but I'll allow them to explain it in the movie, of course. Chris Pine's back, the same cast is back, Patty Jenkins is back directing as well. So I expect Wonder Woman to be good. I've had a certain somebody be already looking for woke bullshit in this film as well. I'll wait until I see it, okay? The trailer, disregarding the trailer, we'll see what happens, okay? I think it's still going to be a good film. I fully expect it to do well at the box office, but I hope it does, because I don't want to see DC become, or comic book films in general, because I think especially, because Black Widow comes out as well, I believe in May. And so we need these movies. We need these movies to do well, because there are other great female characters that can be used. I'd like to see a Batgirl film. I know the Kate Gillan. Kate Gillan plays Nebula. She wants to direct and star in a Batgirl film. I think that's a great idea, and I'd like to see them do it. So I don't want to see female characters get set to the side because of this film, just because it didn't do very well. I hope that they don't set female characters aside. I'm not saying we need a bunch more female movies or anything. I'm just saying I don't want to see female characters get cast aside just because one film didn't do quite as well at the box office, especially because this isn't a bad film, and that's the sad thing about this isn't a bad film. It's a good film. It's just not making money, and it is what it is. I don't think it's a great film. I think it's okay or good. Again, a 7 out of 10 is a good rating on it. And I'd like some people to know that just because you think it's bad doesn't mean it's bad, okay? A certain idiot I work with who's not willing to listen to other opinions. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Like and subscribe. I'll come back at you probably here in a couple days, hopefully with a different subject, because I think I've discussed Birds of Prey in like 3 videos now. So hopefully we'll have something new for you soon. But that's all for today. Thank you.